And hello, everyone. My name is Ann Trujillo, and I am so excited to be here with all of you today to celebrate Project C.U.R.E and to honor International Women's Day. This is a wonderful celebration that we're in for today. So thank you so much for joining us, all of you. Today, we will be honoring inspiring leaders, inspiring women from all around the country, leading extraordinary changes in healthcare. We will hear from businesswoman and philanthropist and our keynote speaker, Mrs. Cindy McCain, as well as learn about the work that Project C.U.R.E is doing to combat COVID-19 domestically and, of course, abroad. I know we have attendees from all over the place today, so thank you so much for joining us from all over the world. We have attendees in Russia, Baghdad, Sweden, and more, so welcome and thank you, all of you. It is lunchtime here in Colorado. But we appreciate you tuning in, whether you are just waking up or getting ready for bed, whatever time it is where you are. Thank you so much for being here. So I would first like to start off by thanking our sponsors today and for the women you are honoring through your support of this event, including Terumo Blood and Cell Technologies, honoring Baby PS from India, and Falana Magunyi in Kenya. Ascend Performance Materials Ascend Cares Foundation, honoring Dr. Lou Zhang in Texas. Tito's Handmade Vodka, honoring Letitia Fry in Arizona. Envision Technology Partners, honoring Lucia La Paz here in Colorado, as well as Newmont, Scripps Howard Foundation, Hensley Beverage Company, Vector Medical Group, and so many more. And we are so grateful to all of you. I have the honor of having Dr. Douglas Jackson, CEO and President of Project C.U.R.E with us today. Hi, Doug.
Thanks, Ann. Hello, it's great to be with you again. We're excited to be here today, and we're going to honor some incredible women doing some amazing things around the world, and just talk a little bit about what it takes to change the world. I also want to thank our sponsors today because that's what makes this possible. For some of you, you're new to Project C.U.R.E, and so I would love to just give you a little bit of background on this incredible organization and who these people are. Project C.U.R.E got started in my mom and dad's garage in 1987. My folks had been very successful in business and discovered that you can be rich and not happy. So they started a foundation, and my dad came face to face with healthcare in the developing world without resources when he was in Brazil. And it was that chance encounter in a little clinic that didn't have anything in it that became the impetus to start Project C.U.R.E. Fast forward to today, they tell us that we are the largest in the world doing what we do, and that's shipping semi-truck size containers of medical supplies and equipment to the places that need it the most. This year, we're going to do 200 semi-truck trailers, just donations, giving it away to the doctors and nurses on the front lines. And I'm sitting in the Project C.U.R.E international headquarters right now while we are talking on this International Women's Day. We have a team of volunteers downstairs in the warehouse loading another container. This one's going to Uganda. Uganda is the place where we did a lot of work around saving mothers, giving life. And in 5 years in, we were able to reduce maternal mortality by 50%. Those moms that didn't have a chance reduced it by 50%. Because one of the things we believe is that no mom should have to give up her life to give life to her baby. And that's what we're talking about.
Well, clearly the need has never been greater, Doug. So thank you for sharing that background. I think we'd all love to hear, Doug, about what's been happening at Project C.U.R.E this past year in particular. Here you are, an international nonprofit organization, always traveling. Then, the travel ban, the quarantine. This has to have been a really tough year for your team.
It's been a different year, that's for sure, challenging. 1 year ago, we were in Nashville, Tennessee with celebrating an International Women's Day. And that's when the president started shutting down airports. And we thought, you know what, let's just go home for 2 weeks. It's 14 days. We'll stock up on tuna fish and toilet paper, and we're all going to get through this next 2 weeks together. Well, I'll tell you, the first call that I got was from my brother, who was a fire chief, and he was out of gloves and gowns and masks. He didn't have any PPE. And then we started getting calls from our nurses, these fantastic nurses who are volunteers at Project C.U.R.E, and they were saying the same thing. We're having to gown up in plastic trash bags because we don't have any PPE. And at that point, we just kind of looked at each other here at Project C.U.R.E and said, we've got to do something. So we went through all of our warehouses. We have 7 of them now across the United States. And we started pulling off the gloves and gowns and masks and hand sanitizer. And we turned our trucks around and shipped it back into the hospitals. The same hospitals that are usually donating to us, we were giving it back. And when we ran out of the stuff in our warehouses, we started doing PPE drives, and we worked with the Denver Broncos here in Denver. We worked with the Cardinals, and thanks to Cindy McCain, our keynote speaker, for helping us get in touch with that football club. And we worked with the Bulls and the Blackhawks and the White Sox in Chicago and the Titans in Tennessee and the Expos in Houston. And we were collecting everything that these frontline leaders needed, our heroes. And I think today we've probably done coming up on 15 semi-truck trailers. You can put a lot of little masks on a semi-truck trailer. We've done that we've donated back into the United States to the hospitals on the front lines, these people that are working to save our lives.
I know people are so appreciative, and you are always so resourceful, Project C.U.R.E and all of your team, amazing. So clearly you've made a great impact this year during this setback. And it is inspiring to see the transition that Project C.U.R.E has been able to make during this time here domestically. I am aware that Project C.U.R.E is recognized as a top nonprofit, and I think we can all see why. A top nonprofit named by Charity Navigator, GuideStar, even Forbes. So congratulations, Doug. That's incredible work.
Thanks.
Good stuff. All right, next we have Linda Ford, who is the Executive Director of the Denver Health Foundation, sharing how Project C.U.R.E has made an impact on her work in this past year. Linda has more than 30 years experience in fundraising and leadership at medical centers here in Colorado and across the nation. She has worked in a range of different healthcare organizations, including safety net hospitals and academic medical centers, and has been a great partner with Project C.U.R.E this past year.
You just how wonderful Project C.U.R.E is. During the COVID episode here in Denver, we were so desperate for PPE. And I would call Project C.U.R.E and say, this is what we need. We're running out. We maybe have 4 days left. And he said, let me see what I can do. Within an hour, I'd get a call from Chris saying, I'm coming right over. And we found 1,000 of these, and I just couldn't believe it. And then I'd call again and say, Chris, we're really desperate for gowns. We just don't have enough. And he said, I don't have any now, but let me see what I can do. And sure enough, by the next day, he called me at 7:30 in the morning and say, I have a truck, I'm ready to come, and we have more than what you need. And time after time, they were just the lifesaver. Chris and the whole staff was so wonderful to work with. And what they did, they truly saved our lives here at Denver Health. And I can't thank them enough.
This is just remarkable. And the work you do, Doug, really just couldn't happen without the support of amazing volunteers and donors.
You know what, that really is the fuel that drives our engines. On a regular year, we'll have as many as 30,000 people who will come to Project C.U.R.E and volunteer their time. And a lot of those people are donors. I know that there's an opportunity for us to make a donation today. You can just text Give Hope to 33222, and all the proceeds are going to go to help support the work that we're doing for women around the world. We're doing something kind of special this year, Ann, and this is fun. We had a plaque that we had created, and it looks something like that. And it's an opportunity for people to honor their hero. And so for a $100 donation, you can get online and you can honor somebody that's doing amazing work around the world. And we're going to send them this plaque. So you put your name in, and then you put their name and the address in, and we're going to get that taken care of. And here's what it says. Project C.U.R.E.'s International Women's Day celebration. A hero does not always wear a cape. Project C.U.R.E. recognizes you for being the change maker in your community and an inspiration to those around you. We share our gratitude for your dedication, selflessness, and generosity. You're really making a difference. And this one, Ann, says thank you to Ann Trujillo. So we're going to get this to you.
Oh,
The prize, that's kind of neat. We just wanted to honor you two for all the great work that you do. Thank you.
you. Oh my gosh, I am honored. Thank you, because I know I've told you time and time again, I am always so impressed and so inspired by the work that Project C.U.R.E does, not just in our community, but all around the world. And those plaques are just beautiful. And that really is a special way to honor so many people who have been connected to Project C.U.R.E, and particularly on International Women's Day. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I am aware that you have 7 warehouses, 7 different locations around the country, with the international headquarters located here in Centennial, Colorado. And in many of these locations, I love this, you have women as executive directors and employees leading these warehouses.
Yeah, that's right. We've got women as executive directors. We have women as operations directors, the people that are actually running the warehouses. It's really fun. Our staff, that is what makes us go. So they have gotten together and are going to introduce some healthcare heroes that they've nominated from their region. We also have an international healthcare hero this year, and we're going to honor her for the work that she's doing in Kenya, in Africa. So these women are really doing some incredible things and making extraordinary changes in healthcare, and we're excited to celebrate them.
Terrific. All right, so to kick off the celebrations, we have Cheryl No, Executive Director at Project C.U.R.E in Nashville, Tennessee.
Hello, I'm Cheryl No, Executive Director for Project C.U.R.E Nashville. I'm proud to introduce Tennessee Department of Health Commissioner Dr. Lisa Piercy. She's been responsible for facilitating COVID-19 testing and treatment initiatives, providing insight to understand the scale on which Tennessee is being affected, and helping direct state healthcare facilities, providers, and institutions in developing a statewide plan for virus treatment and containment. American Board of Pediatrics certified in general pediatrics and child abuse pediatrics, she continues to evaluate children for suspected abuse and neglect. A faculty member at Vanderbilt University School of Medicine, a fellow of the American College of Healthcare Executives, and a member of the American Hospital Association's Small and Rural Healthcare Governance Council, her volunteer efforts focus on care access for rural Tennesseans. In short, Dr. Piercy embodies the very spirit of this award, and we're honored to recognize her accomplishments today as Project C.U.R.E Nashville's 2021 Healthcare Hero.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be with you today. I'm Dr. Lisa Piercy, Commissioner of the Tennessee Department of Health and Cabinet Member for Governor Bill Lee. I'm so very grateful to be recognized with the Project C.U.R.E Healthcare Hero Award, and I'm incredibly humbled to be considered amongst such an esteemed group as we recognize International Women's Day. You know, people often ask me how I got interested in healthcare in the first place, and it was really my love for STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And you know, part of my passion is inspiring girls and women to be involved in STEM, including my own 3 daughters and my son as well. You know, and when this role with Governor Lee came up, I was excited to take it because it gave me an opportunity to take all 6.8 million Tennesseans and care for them as my own patients. And I've always cared for my own patients like I care for my family. So it is an honor to be recognized for what I love to do and what I'm passionate about doing, and I thank you again.
Just amazing, amazing work going on. So congratulations, Dr. Piercy, and thank you for all that you are doing. Next up, we have Beth Rotman, Executive Director of Project C.U.R.E in Chicago, Illinois.
Hello, I'm Beth Rotman, the Executive Director at Project C.U.R.E Chicago. Today, I'm proud to introduce to you Dr. Babs Waldman. Dr. Waldman is a highly respected physician who served as the Medical Director for the Illinois Attorney General. She is an assistant professor at Rush University Medical College and Northwestern Medical Center. Currently, she is the Volunteer Medical Director of Community Health, the largest volunteer-based medical facility in the nation, which provides 15,000 visits a year for people in our community who are uninsured and underserved. Since 2010, Dr. Waldman has been working in Haiti and the Dominican Republic, implementing self-sustaining infrastructure improvement projects. We're honored to have her as part of our Project C.U.R.E Chicago Ambassador Board and as a Project C.U.R.E Needs Assessor. Many lives have been touched by her work, both domestically and abroad, and I am honored to present her as Project C.U.R.E Chicago's 2021 Healthcare Hero.
Thank you, Beth, for those kind words, and thank you, Project C.U.R.E, for this recognition and for all the work you, your staff, and hundreds of volunteers are doing. I actually have had the privilege of working with Project C.U.R.E and experiencing Project C.U.R.E in just about every direction possible. In leadership, I'm part of the Chicago Advisory Board. I've been an applicant and sponsor for several containers. I'm an assessment representative and have done on-site and virtual assessments in several countries, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and several countries in Africa. And it really is this level of engagement and commitment and the whole assessment process that sets Project C.U.R.E apart. The alignment of need and what is received is critical to the work that we're all doing in our various corners of the world. Finally, on this day, I think we should all think about the women across the world that work tirelessly to improve their lives and the lives of their communities. I've had the privilege of working with some amazing people, both here and abroad. So in their honor, thank you, Project C.U.R.E.
And congratulations, Dr. Waldman, terrific. Next up, we have Melissa Esposti, Director of Government and NGO Relations in Washington, D.C., honoring Dr. Ricky Lane.
Hello, I'm Melissa Esposti, Director of Government and NGO Relations for Project C.U.R.E based in Washington, D.C. Today, I'm very excited to share with you our next Healthcare Hero Award for Dr. Ricky Lane. Dr. Ricky Lane is an attending physician in the emergency room in Elmhurst Hospital in New York. Their facility was the epicenter of the outbreak in March 2020 of COVID-19. She and her team of doctors and nurses worked tirelessly around the clock to serve COVID patients and very vulnerable populations in New York. We are also excited to honor her partnership with Project C.U.R.E. She and her team at Helping Heroes worked together with us to develop our very first mental health stress and PTSD discussion to train international doctors how to cope with the mental distress of serving COVID patients. Together with Aubrey Buckman, our Director of Clinics, we developed a COVID-19 coping mental health training for doctors in Kazakhstan. Dr. Ricky Lane was one of the trainers on that event, and we were so grateful and honored to have her participate. We're very excited to honor the work that she does today and every day. Thank you very much, Dr. Ricky Lane, for your amazing work.
I am so honored to be receiving this award and so grateful to Project C.U.R.E for the opportunity to talk with physicians in Kazakhstan. So much of the credit for this award goes to my own support network, my work family at Elmhurst Hospital, as well as founding members of Helping Heroes, Dr. Lisa Elman-Grunther, Linda Schwartz, and Stephanie Iser-Goldblatt, in addition to psychologists Michelle Berniker and Allison Feinstein. Thank you, Melissa and Aubrey and everyone else at Project C.U.R.E. I look forward to many projects together in the future.
Thank you, Dr. Lane. Again, sincerely, I am so honored to be honoring these incredible women, just doing these great things in our world. Next up, we have Barrett Walker, who is the Executive Director right here at Project C.U.R.E Colorado.
Hi, I'm Barrett Walker, Executive Director of Denver's Project C.U.R.E, and I am very pleased to announce another outstanding healthcare honoree. Recognized as one of the top 25 women in healthcare nationally and a top leader in business in Colorado, Donna Lynn is the former Lieutenant Governor and Chief Operating Officer for the state of Colorado. Prior to her leadership at the state, Lynn led Kaiser Permanente for the Colorado, Northwest, and Hawaii market, as well as having executive roles in both the foundation and hospitals, where she oversaw an $8 million budget, 1.4 million members, and 16,000 employees. Currently, Donna Lynn is Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Columbia University Irving Medical Center, where she also serves as CEO of Doctors. She's very pleased to work at the university where she earned her Doctorate of Public Health in 2003. It is with great pleasure that I congratulate Donna Lynn for her outstanding accomplishments in healthcare. Congrats, Donna.
Thank you, Barrett. I want to thank Project C.U.R.E for this honor and for all the work that they do. In New York, it's been particularly challenging as we experience the first wave of COVID and are in another one. Thanks to all of our employees who we provided support to, but every day they've had to go into the hospital and the medical offices to fight this pandemic.
Congratulations, Donna. These women really are truly extraordinary, and we will get to honoring more of these healthcare heroes here in just a bit. All right, next up, we have a special introduction honoring an amazing woman who has dedicated her life to really improving the lives of others, both in the U.S. and abroad. To facilitate the discussion, I am excited to introduce Dana Jacoby, President and CEO of Vector Medical Group. Dana is a national thought leader across various medical specialties, including urology, gastroenterology, dermatology, oncology, and others. And in addition, Dana has experience in guiding her personal companies through 3 merger and private equity transactions and consulted in nearly $1 billion of additional deals, making her one of the most sought after healthcare specialists in the entire country. So Dana, thank you for being here. Thank you to Vector Medical Group for your sponsorship towards this event. And Ruth Sanchez, Executive Director of Project C.U.R.E in Phoenix, Arizona, is also here today to award and introduce our special keynote speaker, Mrs. Cindy McCain.
Hello, friends. My name is Ruth Sanchez, the Executive Director of Project C.U.R.E Arizona. Today, I'm honored to have the privilege in introducing Mrs. Cindy McCain as our keynote speaker and the Arizona Project C.U.R.E 2021 Healthcare Hero. Mrs. Cindy McCain has dedicated her life to improving the lives of those less fortunate, both in the U.S. and around the world. As the chairman of the board of the McCain Institute for International Leadership at ASU, she oversees the organization's focus on advancing character-driven global leadership based on security, economic opportunity, freedom, and human dignity. Cindy also chairs the Institute's Human Trafficking Advisory Council and the Arizona Governor's Council on Human Trafficking. Her leadership has created several partnerships with anti-trafficking organizations and helping solve some of the issue's biggest challenges. In addition, Mrs. Cindy McCain serves on the board of directors of Project C.U.R.E International. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Mrs. McCain, for your support and for being an amazing ambassador in giving health and hope around the world.
Great. Mrs. McCain, I cannot thank you enough for being here today. As Ann mentioned, there's no one else we can think about honoring these wonderful women. But of course, when we think about an international woman that really just represents everything about International Women's Day, it is definitely you. So we're thrilled to have you keynoting this event and just had some really great questions that we'd love to ask just as it relates to global health and a lot of the initiatives that you've been involved in.
Thank you.
So just to kick it off, we know you've been involved in global initiatives in countries like Africa, including Eastern Congo. Tell us how you got involved in that work and the scope of your work in those countries. It'd be interesting to hear your background.
Well, initially, the African portion of the things that I've done, by the way, first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you. The African scope really took place when the Rwandan genocide erupted. And at that point, we still had a medical team, the American Voluntary Medical Team, and we went in there. In those days, the call would go out. It was not as easy to facilitate things, so Geneva would put a call out and say, we need anyone who can get there, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, it was kind of everyone showed up. And we were on the other side in then Zaire, treating those who were coming across the border. And primarily they were women and children, and most of them were dying of cholera. So that was my initial entry into the African situation in one way, and it became a quest, and also a deep love for the people and the humility and grace that they represent in all portions of Africa.
That's amazing. No, I mean, incredible work. When we think about, I mean, those of us that are seasoned travelers, seasoned world travelers, especially what do you see as the future of women in developing countries, especially on the heels of a pandemic in 2020? I mean, what are you seeing from your global relationships?
I see a lot of good happening, and obviously I'm troubled by other parts of the world. I'll name Afghanistan for one. I'm worried about the women and children in Afghanistan right now. There's many political reasons for all of that, but that's one country I'm very concerned about. Of course, Syria and Yemen are others. But the good things that are happening are primarily, what I have seen on the African continent, are women who have finally said, look, we're tired. We're tired of war. We're tired of being mistreated, all the things that you and I know. And they finally just put their foot down and started running for office. And we were helping them become a candidate, not just how to be a candidate, helping them get themselves elected. And in many countries now, the leadership in Africa and others, of course, are primarily female. Rwanda, for example, has over a 50% percentage within the Senate and the House that they have. It's wonderful to see it. It just because the caring and the graciousness and the love that these women have for not just how they have resisted so many things, but they're also their quest for basic human rights. And that's really what this is all about. I'm sorry for my long answer.
No, it's a great answer. And it's just so important. I don't think people realize we take for granted so many of the rights we have here in the United States. And when you see other countries and how critical it is to be able to help those women be able to step up into roles. So no, not long-winded at all. I think if nothing else, it's an incredible education for the audience as far as some of the things that we're probably not seeing as much just because the news here domestically is on COVID and a lot of the things we're facing here.
COVID, of course, has had an enormous impact on our disadvantaged people around the world. Of course, they're the first that get hit. They're the first that don't have access to decent medical care and health care. And that's why Project C.U.R.E has been so invaluable around the world, because they have not only stepped forward, but they've managed to amend their business plan and their model to fit what was going on. And consequently, I think many lives have been saved because of their action in that. So I'm very proud of what Project C.U.R.E does.
That's neat. Well, and some of us know that you're on the board of Project C.U.R.E. So thank you for saying that. Obviously an incredible organization, but what people probably don't know is that you were instrumental in some of the start of Project C.U.R.E. in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Mm-hmm. So it might be interesting for people to hear a little bit about how you met Project C.U.R.E. initially and how you got involved.
Project C.U.R.E, I knew of Project C.U.R.E, of course. They were kind of my gold standard of what you can do. And even though they were young and fledgling like we were, they were just so diligent in what they did. And so when it came time for my group to kind of not change its focus, but handle it in a different way, we had a lot of medical gear. And I looked to Project C.U.R.E and got to know Doug and the rest of the people there in Phoenix and gifted them not only the things that we have, but several other things, forklifts and other things that were able to get our hands on to kind of help. And I think what they do is just so pure in form and pure in what the need is around the world. And so I'm just so glad I met them, number one, and my friendship with Doug and of course his parents have been one that's been long standing. And I'm just, I'm grateful for many, many things in my life, but Project C.U.R.E is one of them for sure.
Oh, well, thank you. I know there's a tremendous mutual respect, so thank you for saying that. Switching gears a little bit, but you've made a tremendous difference and have been incredibly vocal in the areas of human trafficking, which again, such an important thing right now. And again, something that maybe folks aren't as aware of how much is going on around the world and what difference they can make. Can you tell us a little bit just around what's happening now in the fight against trafficking and maybe some of the current situation and what's at hand?
Well, from a domestic standpoint, what has happened is a lot of the online trafficking, the things that take place on the internet, have gone underground. And it's not that it's not happening, but it's happening even more than it was, but it's becoming more difficult to find. And that primarily deals with our youth, our younger folks that are being trafficked in that way. But you saw just recently what happened, the horrible car crash that took place in California that killed 27 people in the car, killed 13 of them. That's human trafficking. That was a full-blown case of human trafficking. And that's what's so difficult about trying to not just work on it, but trying to get a handle on it. They're international cartels that will stop at nothing, and the human life means absolutely nothing to them. And so it's our job as Americans and people that believe in the rights of human beings and believe in what we stand for to not only get active, but to be proactive in stopping it at every level of our communities and societies.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for all the educational work that you do to make sure that people are aware of what's happening and obviously making a difference one person at a time, which is so critical. We know, you have so many initiatives that you oversee, and it's amazing. We know you launched the McCain Institute with Senator McCain, and you're currently chairing that organization as well. Can you share a little bit about what the Institute's currently doing and, some of the efforts as it relates to women in leadership? Because I think that would be amazing for the audience to hear some of those initiatives as well.
Well, one of the portions, I should say, of the Institute, and one of our initial portions is our Next Generation Leaders program. And with that, we take young leaders from around the world. I focus on making sure that we have a balance of women, but hopefully more women, because I like that to be a part of it. And they spend a year within the United States learning not only about democracy and freedom and about societies making good decisions, tough decisions are the right decisions sometimes. And consequently from that, we've had 3 or 4 elected officials now that are women around the world. And so that one's been very exciting. We do a human rights program. We do a prosecutors program within the human trafficking area. We do one of our initiatives that we just began is one that deals with online trafficking and how parents can deal with their children spending so much more time online. We also have we just took on we have some fellows that come in, and our most recent fellow is the former Secretary of Defense, and he has now become a McCain Fellow and will be with us for a year as well, as is the former Secretary of Defense of Australia. So we have a very diverse group. It's all about thought. It's all about my husband's vision on what democracy means to the world, and when you are strong and democratic, the difference between that and a thug like Putin or anybody else, and I don't mean to be political, please, but is really what we're all about. We're all about the ideals of the American standard.
No, that's wonderful. I mean, thank you for all the work on that, and just it shows that you guys have invested time in the McCain Institute and what it's done to really, truly make a difference.
Thank you.
Last but definitely not least, we have a lot of people obviously watching this broadcast today. I'm sure there's a lot of young women out there or women in general that are looking at you and saying, wow, she's been vocal on human trafficking, obviously a political public figure. You run the McCain Institute. You chaired the Hensley Corporation. You're a leader in every facet of the thing shown. Are there things that maybe on International Women's Day that you might have some advice for women who really want to make a difference in the world and they look to you as an example of how to do that?
Don't give up. Don't give up. Stay in the fight. We need you. And we also need to put pressure on, I'll use the word men, but men, that's a very generic term in terms of it's not all men that are doing this, but on people in general to make sure that we are equal in all of this, that women are not just a part of the conversation, but are leading the conversation. And that means all of us have to work on that. And so I advise every woman I talk to about this, please don't give up. You know, we're there for each other, and those who haven't given up have made great strides around the world.
That's fantastic. It's a great quote to definitely transition on. Don't give up, everybody. And Mrs. McCain, I can't thank you enough. It's just a pleasure to talk to you, and really appreciate all the work that you're doing with McCain Institute here in the U.S. and around the world. So really appreciate it. And we'll send it back to you now to introduce the final healthcare heroes.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Mrs. McCain. To both of you, just incredibly inspiring women. So it's been our pleasure to be able to listen to the both of you today. So thank you for all the work you're doing to save lives around the world. We really appreciate you. And Dana, we'll chat with you again here shortly.
Thanks, Ann.
Well, and I would love to add my thanks too. Cindy, we are so grateful to you for your leadership here at Project C.U.R.E. I remember sitting in New York during the UN General Assembly. We were at a breakfast together and really talking about what you were doing in Eastern Congo and the difference that you were making. And every time we had an encounter and an opportunity to change the world, you're there on the front lines and you are doing some incredible things.
Thank you.
I'm just happy that we can talk a little bit more about some of the things that you're doing with the McCain Institute. And
Thank you.
your leadership is just incredible. So thank you for being a part of this today, and thanks for being a part of Project C.U.R.E.
Thank you.
Terrific. Next up, we have our first male representative. Yes, we do have male representatives as well with Project C.U.R.E. James Michaud, Director of Corporate Philanthropy based in the New York City region.
Hi, I'm James Michaud, Project C.U.R.E.'s Director of Corporate Philanthropy, and I'm here to introduce Dr. Dorothy Hitchmuth, who was nominated to be honored today by one of our valued partners, Jobson Optical Group, and Women in Optometry magazine. Dr. Hitchmuth, dubbed America's Eye Doctor by her colleagues, is a nationally recognized doctor, professor, healthcare executive, and writer. She's been awarded countless accolades for her work as a patient advocate and has been seeing patients in the rural Outer Banks of New England for the past 25 years. She's dedicated most of her professional life to taking care of veteran patients and the most vulnerable rural Americans, and is a powerful international voice in the fight against blindness. It's no surprise that she quickly stepped up to help in the fight to end the COVID-19 pandemic. So join me in congratulating our honoree from the great state of New Hampshire, Dr. Dorothy Hitchmuth.
Thank you, James. I'm honored to receive this award on behalf of the many doctors of optometry nationwide who are providing essential care every day during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm so proud of the many healthcare heroes who are doing amazing work and who have dedicated their life to taking care of others. You know, I think all of us believe that taking the time to develop a close relationship with our patients will help prevent loss of life and function, and that includes vision loss and blindness. And doctors of optometry have worked throughout the pandemic to keep their practices open and accessible to patients and the greater healthcare system, which is so very important because we're embedded in communities across the nation. There's an optometrist within 15 minutes of nearly every Medicare recipient. You know, my goal during the pandemic was to ensure that we worked collectively to divert eye emergencies from crowded emergency rooms, ensure that high-risk patients had access to ongoing eye care, and disseminate through my writing accurate and timely information about COVID and the vaccine effort. I definitely bristled public officials, Congress, and governors to make sure they tapped into a 45,000 strong group of doctors who are on alert and ready to help vaccinate. And I just want everyone to know that your local eye doctor cares about you and is a trusted source of information. After all, we care for the most precious sense, sight. And I'm humbled to be recognized and remain hopeful, very hopeful, that the pandemic will end and many silver linings will emerge. Again, thank you so much for this award.
And congratulations, Dr. Hitchmith, and thank you, James. It is always inspiring to hear and see the extraordinary work that is going on thanks to these inspiring women. All right, next up, we have another Project C.U.R.E Colorado team member, grants writer Rachel Buck.
Hi, I'm Rachel Buck, and I'm the grants manager here at Project C.U.R.E. I'm honored today to award Dr. Emily Speranza as a Project C.U.R.E Healthcare Hero. Dr. Speranza is a virologist and immunologist working as an independent researcher at the NIH. Her work with Ebola virus and Lassa virus has resulted in methods that now help with patient triage and help guide patient care. More recently, she has authored a paper featured on the cover of Science magazine, examining how the immune system functions during COVID-19 infection. This work is currently being used to find potential immune modulators, which would alleviate severe symptoms of the virus. Thank you so much for all your work, Dr. Speranza. You truly are a healthcare hero.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be counted among all these great women. Being honored today as part of Project C.U.R.E's Healthcare Heroes. Congrats to all the other honorees.
Hi, I'm Melissa Espasti, Director of Government and NGO Relations for Project C.U.R.E, based in Washington, D.C. Today I'm here at the
So many incredible women that we have honored today and heard from today, celebrated. The list could go on and on. Of course, last but certainly not least, we have Melissa Espasti again, Director of Government and NGO Relations out in DC, honoring a very special international healthcare hero, Catherine Gachiru.
Hi, I'm Melissa Espasti, Director of Government and NGO Relations for Project C.U.R.E, based in Washington, D.C. Today I'm here at the Eleanor Roosevelt Memorial in D.C. because Eleanor was a pioneer for multilateral cooperation. Project C.U.R.E could not achieve all that we do without our partners all around the globe. And today, that's why I'm very excited to share with you our international healthcare hero, Catherine Gachiru. Catherine was born in Kenya and became a nurse midwife before emigrating to the United States in 1989. Since then, she has taught nurses and midwives and other administrators best practices all throughout her career. She currently works at Innova Health Systems in Northern Virginia, and recently she worked with the Nyeri government in the state of Nyeri in Kenya to create a memorandum of understanding and identify benchmarks for best practices for their facilities. So Catherine, today we are very excited to celebrate you. Thank you for all that you do. We are very, very grateful.
I am overwhelmed with gratitude to have been selected to receive the Healthcare Hero Award here in the DMV area. I am so honored to have my work recognized in this way by Project C.U.R.E. It means so much to me that the work that I'm so passionate about resonates with others. I would like to thank the leadership at the Innova Healthcare System for the opportunity they have given me to be able to serve in the local community here in Northern Virginia, and the support they have given me to be able to share information and knowledge in the healthcare institutions in Kenya, East Africa. I hope that this recognition can serve as an inspiration to others in the healthcare field. Together, we can make change. Thank you.
Congratulations, Catherine. And really, what an incredible event this has been, Doug and Dana. I mean, just, we're so thankful for those who have watched today and participated today and raised critical funds for Project C.U.R.E.
Absolutely. And I would just say, don't go anywhere. We have a special surprise for you as we're winding up this International Women's Day celebration. There's a young man named Dimash, and he is from Kazakhstan, on the other side of the world, almost exactly from where we are today in Colorado. They recognize Dimash as having the most beautiful voice in the world. And I have watched a ton of his YouTube videos. Anyway, he's got a special song for us today. And so don't go anywhere because we're not done yet.
And you can, as we've mentioned earlier, you can donate by texting Give Hope to 33222. And all proceeds from that are going to go back to Project C.U.R.E. And we've heard how important that is for empowering women with each delivery of medical supplies and equipment around the world. Your donation will allow healthcare heroes all over the world to continue to save lives in their communities.
Yeah, and thank you, Dana and Doug. We have celebrated so many amazing women here today. We know that there are so many more extraordinary women out there who we were not able to honor today, but we do want to extend a huge thank you to all the inspiring women and healthcare workers out there. Healthcare heroes really is a better way to phrase it, who are out there saving lives day in and day out. And boy, now it's more evident than ever.
Absolutely, and we take this responsibility very, very seriously. You had mentioned at the top of the program today the recognition from Charity Navigator and GuideStar and Forbes, and I'll tell you what that means. It means that we're really working hard. I mean, sleeves rolled up, down in the warehouse, packing supplies and equipment, life-saving things, needles, syringes, gloves, suture, beds, catheters, CAT scan, all of the things that you need to save lives, and we're working hard at it. But here's the interesting thing. It costs us about $25 to send a box of medical supplies anywhere in the world. What's inside of that is about $500 worth of medical supplies. And these are going to communities and, where people will work 12 hours a day and they only make $1. And in many of those communities, without any resources, the future is not bright. But here's what we can do today is to rewrite that future, and we can change the course of history for a lot of people around the world. And that's what we're going to do. I'm so honored to be able to present you with one of our plaques to honor you for your great work and for being our hero. And we just invite anybody else, if you have a hero and you want to get online and say, yep, absolutely, for $100 donation, Project C.U.R.E will help me honor a hero in my world. Let's do that today. I think that would really be exciting. And these are gorgeous. I think there's probably a place on the wall there at Denver 7 where you can put that, and everybody else knows you're a hero too.
Absolutely. I will gladly put that up in my office. That's terrific. Thank you so much. They are beautiful and so meaningful, and the money goes a long way. And really, you're right, Doug, it's a special way really to honor heroes on this International Women's Day. And I also want to take a moment here to just say another quick thank you to all of our sponsors today, including Terumo Blood and Cell Technologies, Newmont, Ascend Performance Materials, Ascend Cares Foundation, Scripps Howard Foundation, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Hensley Beverage Company, Vector Medical Group, and Vision Technology Partners, and more. So appreciative of what you are doing. We thank you for your support and the extraordinary women really who you have honored through your sponsorship. So for those of you watching, you can go to www.projectcure.org to see all the amazing sponsors who have supported this event.
Well, thanks, Anna. We would love to thank Steve Weed too. This kind of a thing, when COVID happened, we all learned how to do Zoom. And what we figured out was it's really hard. And so Steve and Steve Weed Media has come along, and that's who has made all of this cool stuff look so good. It happens to you every night, and on the news, but for us, this is hard. So thanks, Steve, for making this look really good.
And thanks so much, Ann. When Doug told us he was going to sneak in a plaque for you, we all were so grateful. We cannot thank you enough for all you've done, not just today, but for your support of Project C.U.R.E, and we're just incredibly grateful for the partnership.
And I appreciate all that you've done with us, and many people know and some people don't that you have been our MC and our host for every single First Ladies lunch that we've done here in Denver, and it has been such a great thing. I'm so looking forward to getting 2,000 people back at the hotel where we can celebrate and have a great lunch together. And we're just looking forward to having you help with that. I mentioned Dimash, and the other piece I didn't tell you, he did a concert just right after the first of the year, and they designated a portion of the proceeds to go to healthcare in Kazakhstan. And so Dimash has sponsored the delivery of about $500,000 worth of medical supplies and equipment back to his country. And it's just been a great opportunity for us to get to know him and to designate him as our global ambassador. And he's got a song called We Are One. And it's a dedicated song that he's dedicated to thanking healthcare heroes around the world. So I'm really excited to watch this.
And someday, to your point, Doug, we will be in the same room together and celebrate together, because the great thing about Project C.U.R.E are those personal connections, and that's what changes the world. So thank you both. All right, it was my pleasure, honestly, to be here with all of you today. It's a great organization. Thank you, all of you, joining us to celebrate the extraordinary women around the world who are making change, affecting change in the world. So for more about Project C.U.R.E, for more about events coming up, please just go and visit their website, www.projectcure.org. And on that note, take it away, Dimash.
Hello, I'm Dimash, Project C.U.R.E's first global ambassador. I would like to wish you a happy International Women's Day. I would like to honor healthcare heroes with my song, We Are One.
Hello, my friends from afar. Over the sea we bring them love. So hard to see you fight alone. We are one big family.